What's up, guys? It's your boy Noah. I am officially on my sixth tee shot, so a month and a week on testosterone. A happy Cinco de Mayo to my fellow Latinos who celebrate. If you don't know what Cinco de Mayo is, please educate yourself. It is not Mexican Independence Day. It's specifically a Mexican holiday, which mostly Chicanos and Mexican Americans celebrate here in the United States. It's kind of like what, St. Patty's Day is for Irish Americans. It's not a holiday that's celebrated across the pond, but something that's celebrated here so that Irish Americans can take part in and revel in their own culture, and that's what we do as well. So, again, to mi gente que está celebrando hoy, feliz cinco, disfruten pero con calma, we can't be drinking too much tequila, y'all. We got shit to do tomorrow. Rather than do the same type of video that I've been doing, just showing you guys, the actual physical testosterone shot. I realize what I haven't really done is talk to you guys about physical changes. So we're gonna kind of go over that today, as well as emotional and mental changes from week to week. My mom gave me a little notebook, because she's so cute, that I've been using to actually physically write down the changes I've been going through each week. And at the beginning, there's not much to say, You're like, well, I'm hungry and I'm hot. Okay, that's not a very exciting, video for you guys. So I decided to wait until I had enough I've written down to go, okay, there's some stuff here that now I've noticed over the longer term that I know definitely is from the testosterone. So here we go. Changes my first week of tea. As most people encounter, you get a ravenous appetite. I was also kind of exhausted and lethargic at the end of the day, and that all makes sense. A buddy of mine, who's a doctor, says basically that what my body was doing then was beginning to make new proteins, to make new muscles, make new hairs. And so that's totally normal. So at the beginning of tea, you are going to be hungry more than usual, like a lot more than usual. You're going to be really, really ravenous. You're going to want to eat everything in front of you, and welcome to the club. That's what happens. Also, the first week I noticed my pee smelled different, and I wanted to make sure that that's what it was, rather than me having eaten some asparagus earlier that week. But yeah, week to week I was like, I didn't purposefully, smell my urine. That's gross. But you can't help but go, that smells a little different when you go to the restroom. And it turns out, yeah, that's been consistent, so that's obviously from the testosterone. I actually looked up why. As we're taking testosterone, we're no longer able to excrete calcium like we did before. Our body's kind of holding on to that. It makes sense if you think about it, because those of us that are on T are told that we are more likely to potentially experience issues with our bones, osteoporosis, that kind of thing in older age. Our bodies then want to hold on to that calcium as much as possible. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm just speculating here, but it all just makes sense. So that's one main reason I think that it makes sense that our pee smells different. Also noticed just the first week or two that my throat started feeling a little bit sore. I had a bit of a cold about around the second or third week. That went away really quickly, but I've definitely been getting like the occasional why is my throat sore? Oh yeah, something's going on there with my vocal cords. By week 2, so it started week 1, got really intense in week 2. Body odor. Rather than change, I should say that it increases. Let's just say that I've had to, start wearing my deodorant morning and at night, put it on again. You don't want to wake up smelling yourself. You're like, that's disgusting. I've heard it also levels off over time, so it's not as terrible of a thing as it sounds. You just need to be conscious to not forget to put on your your deodorant or whatever you use, if that's your thing. There's some folks who have chosen to not wear that, and to each their own. It's important to me to not smell that odor because it bothers me, but again, everyone's different in that way. Looking at you guys who don't wear the deo, if that's your thing, for religious reasons, purity reasons, whatever, do you, man. I just cannot stand my own smell. Something else I noticed in week 2 is my libido started to increase a bit. I'll get back to that in a little bit. Also, by the second week, I noticed that my emotions were a little bit different. I've been a little more prone to being irritated. And I feel like I'm actually a little bit more sensitive than I was before, which is kind of interesting. It's not the stereotype you expect to hear that, oh, if you're on testosterone, then their girly emotions should go away. Well, number one, emotions have nothing to do with gender. Emotions are a product of the hormones in our body. We have glands in our brains, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, the amygdala, all kinds of stuff going on in our wiring that causes us to have emotions and to regulate them in certain ways. So whether you are one gender or another, or this gender or that, you're going to have emotions. But for myself, for me personally, yes, tea affected my emotions in these particular ways. That doesn't mean that my emotions are less feminine or more feminine. They're just emotions, and they're different now. Okay. Week 3. So something interesting happened week 3. I got my period. Sorry to those of you that were triggered by that word. It was a different period than I've ever had, to be quite honest. It was, and again, if period talk bothers you, just fast forward a few seconds. The best way I can describe it, it was watery. It was very light and watery. It was almost like the first day, honestly, it was heavy, but it felt like just semi-thick Kool-Aid was coming out of me. I mean, it was very strange, and I had to, change my tampon quite a few times that day, and I just gave up and wore a pad. By day 2, it normalized out, and the period lasted a total of like 3.5, 4 days, which is shorter than the ones I've had growing up. I'm starting, week 5 of tea, so I expect if I do have another period, it'll happen in the next week or 2. We'll see. Some people stop it after the first month on tea. Some people, it takes a month or 2, or 3. Something else I noticed week 3 is that I'm getting new chin hair. I'll show you my face more close up in a second. It's there. Yeah, overall, my peach fuzz is thickened out. And I feel it. Like I feel it in a way that I haven't felt it before. So I know that this stuff is it's coming in. I've actually shaved my face for probably the last 20 years of my life, since I was about 17, just because I didn't like having any hair on my face back then. Which is really funny, because now I just can't wait for it to come back in. Alright, changes week 4. My temperature issues increased greatly, meaning that my temperature itself increased greatly. You probably noticed in a couple of previous videos that I was super hot, like sweaty, like taking off my hat and just doing all this. I need a haircut. I haven't got my hair cut since I started tea, so I'll probably rectify that today. Anyway, yeah, so since week 4, for sure, like I've just gotten hot more often, had to, kick off blankets in the middle of the night, like just hot. Also by week 4, and again, trigger warning, we're going to be talking about down there stuff. By week 4, my libido had exponentially increased, way more than the first couple of weeks. Also, growth down there definitely started between week 3 and 4. It was like, well, that wasn't that size before. That's new. That's interesting. And it's increased a little bit since. I'm not going to give you any size markers, because honestly, unless we're sleeping together, it's none of your business. I'm just choosing to tell fellow trans guys and those that are interested that, yes, bottom growth is a real thing. It happens. Alright, by the time I hit 1 month on tea last week, I noticed my skin is slightly oilier than it was before. I've had just a few pimples since. One right here in the middle of my eyebrows, of course, because that's where it's going to be. And just a couple around my face that have gone away. I've never really had acne growing up, so I'm not expecting too much. Fingers crossed. But it's only been a month, so we'll see. If that becomes an issue, that's not going to be fun. And I'm definitely going to deal with it as it comes, because I can't imagine having a bunch of acne. That's never been a thing for me, but, if that's one of the side effects of being on testosterone, then so be it. I will accept that. Also, week 5, I've noticed libido increased even more. Again, if you're related to me, you might want to fast forward about 10 seconds. Yeah, increased libido meant that I have had to, take care of that. A little self-love here and there, completely healthy, perfectly fine. We do what we have to do to, tame the beast before leaving the house. Let's just say that. Okay. Anyway, so I'm now on my 6th shot, and what I did want to show you guys was my increased facial hair here. When I was a kid, I had what I call the Cantinflas mustache, which actually looks like what I've got going on now, which is interesting because when I was about 17 or 18, I completely shaved that off. I would wax it because I would get made fun of. Like, I've been completely clean since. So years later, I'm now back to where I was then. In the last month, I've noticed like it's thicker and darker than it's been ever in my life. So that's definitely the testosterone. Mm-hmm. There you go. And my chinny chin chin hairs. That's been fun. They've increased. Mm-hmm. Got a little bunch going on right there. Never named them because I'm afraid I'm gonna, have to shave them off at some point because they're all kinds of uneven. This guy's like down here going that way. This guy's over here going this way. The rest are just coming in slowly. So fun with facial hair. I feel like that's gonna be the the main thing that I'll be concerned about over the next couple of months. Just making sure that looks decent. My name is Noah, and this is my voice, 5 weeks on T. As always, guys, peace and love. Take care of yourselves. Happy Cinco.